champions, Houston Astros. This is Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage.
Corey DLG.
And I'm Cole Baldridge.
You are listening to us on Chronos FM 104.5, 106.1.
Sister station.
Worldwide at
IRLoneStar.com.
I've waited my whole life for this.
The World Series.
The World Series.
This is the
baseball champions of the world.
This is roundup of championship weekend here.
I know. Last week was an emotional roller coaster for me. Like every single day. Like 30 years I've been watching the World Series.
I know.
30 years. I can recall like going back to almost like 87, 88 when the Dodgers won last time.
Oh, wow.
Remembering fragments of the World Series. And every year watching the World Series and never getting a chance to root for my team. Always having to root for the Braves or whatever. And then we got one shot in 05.
God, that was a
Blew
heartbreaker
it.
in 05. God, that was a heartbreaker.
12 years later, it finally happened. I told both my kids, like, you know how lucky you are?
Right.
6 and 9 years you've had to wait. I've waited 34. Oh, man, it was unreal. Like, I had a group chat with some of my buddies that we coach with, and we were all the next day were like, is this real? Like, did this really happen?
It's such a great big deal. Like, I mean, and here's the thing, like we were talking about this off the air, we've been talking about it, and I've been watching it, but I haven't been. You and I have talked about this. My heart was broken by 05.
Right, and I have been emotionally invested in this ball club since 1987.
See, when they sold and when they moved leagues, I was like, you know what, man? Like,
I was pumped about that.
See, I the two guys who had killed us the most, Albert Pujols and the Panda, they both changed over to the American League, and then they were back in our division again. I was like, this team's never going to catch a break.
We did,
and then the 100 lost years.
Yeah.
It was not. It's been so hard to root for this team.
You know what's crazy though is I was super excited whenever we switched to the American League because we've been in the National League the whole time, so it's been the same teams over and over and over again. I was like, oh, cool. Now we're gonna get to play some different teams, and we're gonna lose the first couple of seasons.
True,
but I mean, I'll get to see the Yankees and Minute Maid Field.
Yeah,
I'll get to go see the Red Sox.
They put us in a brutal division too.
I'll get to see some of the teams I've never got to see before.
Baltimore,
right? Yeah. And so I was excited, and but now I still find myself like I don't like any of the American League teams except for the Astros.
Right.
I can't find myself cheering for any of them.
I guess this was,
any of them.
It was a condition of the sale because it also evened out the teams because there was uneven number of teams in one league, and this made everything symmetrical in baseball, and it made the scheduling easier and et cetera. So they gave him a discount to do it. So I understand why the new owner, what does he care?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's fine.
Because he had been approved to buy a team for years.
Right, but he could never find a team
that wanted to sell.
Right. So finally the Astros come up, and then the league literally gives him a discount if he agrees to move leagues. Like, I mean, it's a big deal. And now we're here.
World Series champs. Not even to mention, our team is locked up for the next 3 years.
I know.
They're young.
I was looking that over. Like, Verlander's got 2 more years.
Right.
Altuve's got 2 more team options that are about $6 million a year. Yeah. No one's eligible for anything except for, I want to say Correa is eligible for arbitration this year.
Right.
But arbitration is not that's not the big number deal that you get 3 or 4 years from now.
No.
So we're at least.
We still have Brian McCann because the Yankees are still paying half of his contract.
Right. So we're at least 2 years away from actually shelling out money for any of these guys.
They did a stat, and we're going to talk about this. This is the last thing I'm going to say before I yell World Series champions one more time. They did this stat where combined Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, George Springer, and Jose Altuve combined make somewhere between $10 million a year. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers makes $25 million a year. World Series champions!
There was that season 3 years ago where we were a $22 million payroll. And I will say this, though. The owner said when we got competitive, he would spend money.
Right.
This was that first off-season season for that. Because this was the year where, famously Sports Illustrated said 2017 World Series champions.
Crazy, right?
But 2016 had been so bad that people were like, well, they're either going to go up or down.
2016 was disappointing because
2015 was so good.
2015 was surprisingly good.
Right.
And they were,
they were
6 outs.
They were a 90-win team that year, 90 plus.
They were, I think, 9 outs from beating the Kansas City Royals.
Right.
And going on to the championship series.
Right, exactly.
And then Will Harris blew it. And
now, and our bullpen is still our weak spot, so that'll be what changes. But there's lots of money to spend. This isn't a team with a large payroll.
Nope.
We're probably It would surprise me if we were higher than 20th in payroll. Honestly,
we
should be pretty low.
We're pretty good.
So I'm excited about that. I saw somebody giving some credit on some things that I didn't like, though.
Like what? Go ahead.
So Appel was a draft pick 2 drafts ago. He was the number 1 pick.
Oh, we traded him for Giles.
Yeah, but when we got Appel, we found out after the fact that he had a bulky elbow.
Right.
And so we then lowballed him on an offer. Because he didn't take it, we then get the 2nd pick in the following draft, and that's where we get Bregman from. Mm-hmm. My issue was just that we had a number 1 pick that we completely
missed on,
botched.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though.
It came out okay. Like in hindsight, you're like, yay, we did it.
But they even mentioned this last night, and this is the last baseball thing. I promise again, I say. Then Corey has a funny story. They'll tell you there are so many number 1 draft picks.
Oh yeah,
in baseball specifically that don't pan out to anything.
Well, baseball it's such a weird. It's such a weird system because you go through that farm stuff and you got to develop. And you got to keep developing.
They've hit on some guys who have been great. So you have a funny story.
I do.
After I tell you about the World Series, Houston Astros champions!
All right. And congratulations, obviously, to the Astros. And
yes, man, you guys.
Great series by the Dodgers.
Yeah, man.
I've heard some cool stuff about how like Yu Darvish was tipping pitches. So like I've heard some inside baseball stuff that was fun this week.
Real quick, one more thing on baseball. Our good friend Aaron Cantu, who hosts the 2 Clicks for KO podcast.
Yes.
He's from Cali. He's a huge Dodgers fan. So me and him we were chit-chatting back the whole series. And I even admitted to him, I was like, dude, I like the Dodgers. I was pulling for the Dodgers in the National League.
They were a talented
just like
team.
I was pulling for the Astros in the American League.
Right.
And so, yeah, hats off to those guys. But you know what stinks about Yu Darvish? They traded for him in the middle of the season to help them on the World Series run. And he got shelled in the World Series.
But he was amazing in that postseason leading up to it. So I really feel like the Astros figured something out on him.
Well, they've been playing against him for the last 3 years. So
true. He's not new to them. He's not. That's a good point. That is a good point.
All right, so baseball's over.
Baseball's over.
You have 190 days before anything interesting happens.
For baseball?
For baseball.
Okay. Or just in general?
Just in general.
Just next 200 days, nothing interesting happens?
No.
So just kicking back, chilling. The Casa Day. And
BLG.
And get the knock at the door.
Okay. Ooh, I like where this is going.
What's going on here? Middle of the day, kind of a weird.
Oh yeah.
What's up? So I open the door and
vacuum salesman.
No.
Okay.
2 well-dressed
Mormons.
Oh, young men come into the door.
Did you have a shirt on?
I did. I was wearing clothes.
When I was younger, and I was home, and they would answer the door, I would answer it in my underwear. The savage don't care. All right,
so famously in the DLG household, it's kind of a joke because my dad.
Yeah.
He can't say no to like anybody.
Anybody.
So for the longest time, those guys really thought they had somebody. They thought they were about to save him. They thought they were one more watchtower away from saving him.
They're about to
he's not a religious person. It's not going to happen. But they came every week and they would talk to him and they would pray to their super Jesus. Like they would hang out with him all the time. Every Sunday, it's been a good 30 minutes
They would eat tamales,
and they would leave, and we'd all be like, and he'd laugh, and he'd put the new little book on top of the pile of the old little books that he's never opened, and we'd be like, why are you taking their? And he's just like, they're really nice people, and I'm like, okay, all right. So these Mormons come to the door, and these 2 kids, they're kids, they're 19 years old.
That's what they do,
right? And so they come to the door, and they're like, hey, and I was like, oh, hey, and he goes, okay, well, do you know who we are? And I was like, Mormons, and he was like, yes.
Was my movie idea played in the back of your mind? Was it?
No, just
should have been.
I truthfully, it didn't even dawn on me they could have been serial killers. I literally was just like, you know what, these kids seem nice, but I have questions about Mormons.
Yeah,
I have things I don't know. So I was like, hey, while you guys are here, and then I just started asking them questions.
How are you related to Scientology again?
Right. No. So and I'm not a mean person. It was things like I don't understand. So basically, what happens is when you turn 18, if you're in the Mormon religion, when you're done with high school,
pilgrimage.
Yeah, these guys are on their mission trip. Yeah. These guys are missionaries. Neither one of them are from Houston. So then I was like, okay, well, where are you guys from? Well, then it turns out they're from completely different places. Like one was from Virginia and one was from the West.
Why'd they end up in Houston? The hurricane?
So, no, what happens is you get sent somewhere when you turn 18.
Who do they stay with?
So that's, okay, the church buys apartments.
What?
Yeah. And then the church just pairs you. And then you just go around. So these guys live in Houston. They came all the way out to my side of town.
It would not be good for me to be a Mormon.
So like,
they sent me somewhere at 18 or 19.
Right. Oh my gosh.
They're making a reality show. Right.
Savage yeah.
They'd be sending you to Uganda, like in the music.
Doesn't matter.
I would find something.
Joey would find the party.
I would find the party.
And his missionary roommate partner would be the guy crying, writing in his diary, like, "This is the worst Mormon ever."
No,
But-
they're savages.
Right.
Right. The devil.
That's me.
So literally these two kids, they just got sent here from nowhere else, and they're just like they're living together and they're doing their thing, which is super cool.
Right.
Like that's, hey man, you be you. And
Right,
so
right.
like my question, I mean, when I was like, okay, so like where are y'all from? Like how does this work? So the church basically takes care of them though.
Yeah.
This is their job for the next
Right.
2 years.
Their job is to
Convert people.
Mission.
Right, to mission.
They buy their food. They give like a salary. Like
They
pay
give them like, it's like a per diem, yeah.
a per diem.
Yeah, they get a per diem and they get like,
And a bike.
and
Per diem, a bike, a backpack, and a helmet.
you know what? I didn't ask how they got there.
Did someone just drop them off?
I don't know.
Walk this neighborhood.
Was there?
It
there
wasn't flooded.
Was there a Mormon van? I didn't think to ask that part. Now I have more questions. I hope they come back.
You should have invited them in to play
I
video
did.
games.
Well, I did invite them in because it's hot. It's like it was like 85, and I was like,
You guys
they've been
wanna-
walking around all day. It's like, you guys want to come inside? Because I have more questions. They were like, okay.
Can we come play some Overwatch?
So like they had the door open for like 10 minutes, and then finally I just reached over and shut it because I still had questions. I talked to these guys for like 15 minutes, and then I was like, all right, well I'm done. I'm not really that interested in y'all's thing, but here's some water. And so I gave them bottles of water, and they're like, all right, well, thank you. And
You
then
guys
they
want to play
left.
some Munchkins? I'll teach you to play HeroClix. Let me tell you about Nerd Thug Radio. Here's my card.
I should have handed them
I
our
do
cards.
that. I do that to everybody I see.
The Mormons come to my door and I convert them to us.
So real quick, we're getting out of here. We always say hashtag talking nerdy to you.
Right.
So last Sunday we were in Kroger's, but we weren't in the Woodlands Corner area. 'Cause We
Right.
were doing some stuff. We were out in like the west side of Houston.
Okay.
And there's this older, attractive lady wearing a shirt that said "Talk nerdy to me."
Oh.
And I said, "Here, listen to this. I'll talk nerdy to you." And I just walked off.
Nice.
I was like,
nice.
nailed it. And little Willie Savage was like, "What are you doing?" Don't worry.
Don't
about
worry,
it.
don't worry,
And
don't
don't tell
worry.
your mom. With that, though, we're going to jump out to a break real quick. Got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to talk about our extra life over the weekend. And we also have some Conroe Cutthroat roller derbies coming in. Woo! Nerd Thug Radio!